Welcome back to Studio 5. We are approaching the thick of the holiday season, and if the holidays bring too much stress and not enough joy, maybe it's time to take a simpler approach.
Life coach and author Connie Sokol joins us with some simple ways to make the holidays more meaningful. My question is it even possible? We got this holiday rush coming. Should we just go with it and get through it, or can we actually somehow enjoy it?
Absolutely, and I think that's what's so important is to acknowledge, especially women. We feel so guilty. Why do I feel so overwhelmed? Because there's so much more. There's nothing eliminated, and women, we do Christmas, so everything is additionally on our already busy plate, so it's a real thing. It's not just a made-up thing, and that's why it's so important that women proactively simplify, that they say, okay, enough is enough. We just got to pare it down. What's the most important? So that's why as a family, it's so great to sit down and say, we have all these great traditions. What's the 3 or 4 most important to all of us this year? So you can savor them and you're not just chop, chop, chop through every one of them.
But for the family that's saying only 3 or 4, Connie, only 3 or 4?
What?
I mean, how do you know when those traditions are overtaking your family schedule? What's the gauge there?
I think when you start seeing that you're frustrated, when you see that doing the cookies, the homemade sugar cookies from great-grandma's recipe, you know, the raisins ones were great, but you know, you're all stressed out. Would you please stop doing the flour? And when you can see that you're getting so upset by it, it's not making it meaningful. Instead, just pull it back and say, you know what, I can pare it back by a 4th this year and still enjoy. We can bump those to next year and the many future Christmases we're going to have. In fact, author James Scott Bell, he does it in his writing. He says his plot points and description, he'll go way over the top and then he'll pull back 25%, and it keeps the pop and the most important things that matter. And that's a great life principle. We've all had the over-the-top Christmas every year. This year, be brave, be bold, pull back a 4th and see how much more breathing room you actually have.
But sometimes I feel like we don't have enough control. We say, I want to pull back 25%, and then the neighbors come and say, hey, we want to invite the neighborhood party, and then the friends call and they say, and then your work party, and then all these things start coming, and people, hey, can you help? Can you bring cookies to the school lunch thing? And all these things start avalanching on you.
Yes, and the food drives, after food drive, exactly. And this is when it's so important, and it seems incongruous to say no, and to practice saying no, and asking yourself, will this event, request, whatever, make it a meaningful Christmas for our family this year? Just take it this year, because every year Christmas changes and your family situation will change. This year, I'm pregnant with our 7th at 45. Okay, if I try to do all the things from last year, this year, not going to be pretty. And I have to just accept that and say, this is one Christmas out of the many. So no, not this year. And just practice it like a mantra. Say, we'd love to, but not this year. Try us next year. It's these wonderful causes, but you can pare it down and say, you know what, this particular year, I'm going to say no to this, but the good part is that you're saying yes to something else, which is more downtime with your family, or being aware of those more immediate things that are right in front of you that needs that people have. I think that's what's great about the Christmas season is our hearts are more tender and we do yearn to do more, but maybe saying no to some structure this year will make us more open to other people that need us right now. A couple of years ago, I remember I was in the post office line, and usually I was chop, 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 but I just noticed this older gentleman standing over at this counter, and he just seemed kind of dazed. And so I walked over to him and I just said, are you okay? Can I help you out? And it was so sweet. He said, my wife passed away. And she always did the Christmas cards. And he did all these cards out. He had no idea what to do. And so I just helped him get his Christmas cards. I mean, I didn't do anything noteworthy, but wow, I still remember that. And usually, chop, chop, we're on to the next thing. But when we just say no to some things, we're ready for that immediacy of helping someone and seeing a need and filling it. And that's what makes that Christmas spirit come in. That's what makes us feel that fullness and that warmth.
Well, and the word that I'm somewhat fixated on that you've said a couple of times is meaning. We lose the meaning in those moments at the post office or at the store or making cookies with our kids. We miss the meaning sometimes.
Yes, and instead it's not a checkoff. And that's if we give ourselves permission this year to say, I'm going to feel Christmas this year. I'm not just going to run through it and put things on the calendar. I'm going to be present. I really feel it. Wow, it makes a huge difference. And you find yourself laughing. And the kids decorate the tree and you can't recognize it. And you just laugh. And you go, it's so great. It's awesome. It's just this feeling that you are all together, and that's what matters most.
You know, you've talked about paring it down and making it more simple. What if families want to do something? What if they want to make some special tradition or something like that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, ask, is this going to create a meaningful experience? Great. Then that's going to create a bond. You know, instead of focusing on the things, and I've got to get, you know, presents out to Aunt Lulu this year, and we got to get them out by the 5th. Pulling it back and saying, how is this going to improve our family? How is this going to draw us closer? We have some years we've forgone gifts and we've just done a family trip instead. And it's great. And you know, there's the usual grumbling because they don't have their electronic device that they got that they wanted. But it's this laughter and contention, and it's this petri dish of just mess and fun. And you talk about it for months after, and it's a memory maker. We even have some friends who combine it with a service trip, and they go down to Tijuana or Guatemala, and they help these people, and impoverished people, that they build these homes. These people are living in plywood and corrugated metal huts, really. And my friend says, Connie, we always think we're going to go give, and we come home so full. She said, we refocus our priorities. These people are humble and patient and grateful, and my kids come home and we feel this love for humanity. And I thought, that's what we're talking about, things that we can do together that are bonding and they're uniting. And you don't have to go take this big trip either. That overwhelms me this year to even think about. So we just looked at our schedule and tweaked it and said, how can we involve people and family and connection more? And so we're having a family history centered Christmas. So we are terrible about knowing about our ancestors. It's awful. They're going to come back and haunt us. So we said, you know, who are these people that we're standing on their shoulders? Let's find out about them. And our activities are more centered around connecting with them and knowing about them and truly making it a family centered Christmas. So you can just do little things, and it adds that depth. They still have the sliding and the sledding and the dinners and all that, but you've got this depth and this fullness to it that makes it a warmth and a thing that you remember rather than just going through the motions.
And like Brooke mentioned, meaningful. It comes back to that, it's that meaningful stuff right there.
I'm so glad we're having this chat now.
Yes.
Great perspective. First of the month that we can embrace and use as our map moving forward. Connie, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Coming up, local